to lock down that street right there. If we can get any additional suspect information, that'll be helpful. I'm going to drop the patch out. You just go down back.
If that's my child, you killed an innocent child.
I can guarantee the young people out there that are engaged in the kind of violence that we see are children that are lost from the school system.
Because he threatened to kill me with a knife. He put the tip of the knife right here on my chin.
When the principal called me and told me that, I just started crying.
In terms of safety, in terms of the amount of learning that was going on, the schools were so much worse here in New Orleans than anywhere I've ever seen.
We failed about 500,000 kids. And those 500,000 kids are the ones that are kicking in your back door, can't get a decent job, selling drugs on the corner.
Let's face it, the schools weren't working for the children in New Orleans before the storm.
This is a tough thing to say, but let me be really honest. I think the best thing that happened to the education system in New Orleans was Hurricane Katrina.
Katrina was a blessing in a way for the education system here in New Orleans. It dismantled it.
Out of that tragedy was presented an opportunity that didn't exist anywhere else in the country.
I was on the internet searching for schools. I never heard of New Orleans College Prep.
We're 100% African American, low-income minority kids, and we have a college expectation for every one of them.
I was in the kitchen, and he said, "Mom, guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "I made the honor roll." I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, I'm proud of him.
New Orleans is the best example of a place where we can start all over.
This is a city now that is almost entirely made up of charter schools.
Can't go in these schools and see what's happening and not be impressed. It's impossible.
We're actually seeing an improvement in overall achievement that is making the city a model for reform nationwide.
This model has been forced on us.
The tactics that have been used with this are unbelievable.
That's what it means, Caucasians, white folks coming in and taking everything up.
Anybody that wants the school system to go back to the way it was should be run out of town. Trust me, those people could care less about the education of the kids. They want the power, they want the structure, they want the money.
That money and that power is like a drug. It's as much of a drug as a junkie on the corner gets when they get a shot of heroin. That's what has been infectious about education in this city and in this country.
It is a pretty big slice of money, one of the state's two largest expenditures.
One of the last great frontiers for profit making is the public sector. This is a $600 billion a year sector that could be transformed into a $600 billion a year industry.
I don't care if you're for-profit or not-for-profit. It makes no difference to me. And it makes no difference to that child sitting in that classroom. You know what's going to make a difference for that child? Can he or she read and write? That's what's going to make a difference.
I know that these kids are getting a better education today than it did 5 years ago. I don't want to go back.
The progress that they've made in 4 years since the hurricane is unbelievable. They have a chance to create a phenomenal school district.
I think that the Democrats are making a big mistake. To demolish the system, to wipe out public education, to privatize it, to put it into the marketplace. Maybe it works for New Orleans, but it's not a model for the nation.
How sad that people want to come in and say, we need to go back to the way it used to be. Leaving it the way it was, we're paying for it right now.
Most of the men in our family didn't graduate, and they either going to jail or being a drug dealer.
I mean, they're carrying guns as early as 14 now.
That's the reason why I want them to get an education. That's the reason why I want them to get into a good school.
Social studies, A. Good job.
I like my teacher. I like everybody at the school.
So what we're seeing today is probably the largest transformation of a public school system in America.
We've created a system based on competition, privatized schools.
They're run by private corporations for profit.
When you create competition among public schools get better.
Every single urban school system is watching carefully to see what our real results are going to be.
One hates to make New Orleans a guinea pig laboratory for education, but that's what it is.
There is no doubt this is the single largest experiment in educational privatization that has been done.
I think it's an experiment based on a strong hypothesis.
Almost every change is an experiment because we can't know for certain the future on how it's going to end up. Democracy in the United States is an experiment.
Once people get a taste of freedom, they get a taste of choice, they're not going back. And if we don't get this right, our democracy will fail.